Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another Toonkind at 12 frames per second. My name is Ars Obsessions, also known as Avi, and today I am playing Ruby Red, my gremlin wizard child person. Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Vamp, and today I shall be playing Umi, my gremlin warlock child person. Yes.
Okay, before we get started, I do have to provide some context for this FPS. This FPS is taking place after the game Home Alone for the Ruindall Brambles. You could probably assume what happened. And in that game, Ruby made an offer to Umi that if Umi helped set up, traps and whatnot, that she would go with them on an adventure in the ocean to do whatever the peck Umi wanted to do.
Yep. And Umi was bribed. Umi was successfully bribed, but now it means that Ruby has to keep their promise.
Mm-hmm. This time to keep promise and go explore ocean, yes.
Imagine it's pretty early morning, like crack of dawn early, because they're both gremlin children who wake up like
They're both
second the sun starts coming out.
Yep.
It's like the kind
the
of
sun
dawn
starts
where
peeking over the horizon, and the both of them are already up and about.
Yeah, it's like the kind of dawn where it's still mostly dark and like, there's that early morning smell and just like early morning feeling.
Yep.
And
it's just early.
Yeah, and Umi is like sitting on the bank of the underground river, conch shell in hand, which they pulled from their hammer space and fumbled over. And they're waiting for Ruby to finish preparing.
Yep. Ruby, meanwhile, is kind of like on the shore of the river and is like double checking her bag of holding and making sure she has everything that she wants to take with her. Just kind of like looting around for it, making sure everything she wants to take is going with her, and anything she doesn't want to take is staying behind. Yee.
I love how in all of the preparation she doesn't even think to like tell someone that, hey, I'm gonna go peck off in the ocean for a bit.
I mean, yeah, she's never like had to tell anyone that she's going off before, so like
Yeah.
This is certainly one of the consequences in the future. Don't worry about it.
No, of course not. What are you talking about?
Either way, as soon as Ruby is done like setting up everything and has everything that she wants to take with her, she's gonna walk over to the side of the river and she's going to summon her familiar, Oliver, this time in the form of an octopus.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, just holds out her hands, and then an octopus plops into them from nowhere.
Links at the octopus and kind of like wiggles their hand / like fingers in a hello.
And like Oliver definitely does sigh and give Umi a wave with one of the many limbs, many tentacles.
Much getting used to.
Yep. And then so Ruby very unceremoniously plops the octopus into the water with a loud splat, and then starts going in the water after them.
Octopus got. And Umi, who has already like prepared their conch shell preemptively, which seems to be paying off now because Ruby just straight up waded into the river without waiting, casts water.
Yep. Okay. Nice. And like they've definitely done this before. They've been friends long enough for this to have happened before.
Yeah, I don't imagine Ruby would have agreed to do whatever it is that Umi wanted without like having some context as to what Umi would have wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And or knowing that Umi can cast spells to lead up to that point.
Yeah, and Umi puts their conch shell, sorry, their arcane focus back in their hammer space, and then swims after
Mhm.
Ruby, catching up with her really easily because like they actually have a swim speed.
Yeah, and Ruby doesn't. So
Yeah, Ruby doesn't, so they hold out a hand for Ruby to take.
and Ruby does in fact take the hand. Yes,
Good.
because that is soft.
Uh, and Umi well, they give it a little squeeze and then like pull like Ruby through like the humongous like hole in the crate at this point. Like the kind of melted crate. Is it even a crate anymore? If it's like like if the only part
It's probably just a few metal sticks kind of sort of sticking out of the stonework.
it looks so sad. Like it looks sad. But all the better for underwater exploration. He who out to the sea the children go.
Yep. Off to the sea. Peck off in the river, then into the ocean. Goodbye.
I think the first thing like Ruby would notice as she's being pulled along into the the wide expanse of the ocean is how fucking cold it is. Because again, real
Oh
kind,
gosh, yeah.
not actually like a warlock off the ocean like Umi is. So yeah, the first thing you notice is how cold it is, especially because it's so early in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pecky cold.
Yeah, it's really cold. Like the underground river was cold, but like the difference is chill between that and the ocean is like
The gosh
immense.
dang pecking ocean.
Yeah, it's immense. But thankfully, it seemed like Umi has like thought this out because they are like kind of like pulling Ruby along. Like for now, they're pulling Ruby along like closer to the surface where you can still like where the water is still like kind of orange from the first like budding rays of the rising sun, and it's it's much warmer, not by much. Like it's still cold, but it's like warmer, like nearer the surface by virtue of being nearer to the sun. And at least for now, before you guys have to like dive deeper into the water, like Ruby's not like freezing her ass off.
Yeah. Either way, Ruby's just tagging along. She's very thankful for like the thought that's going into keeping you warm.
Yeah, it's not Umi's first rodeo.
Uh, Meanwhile, Oliver is just kind of swimming alongside them, and I think he eventually starts talking like, okay, so Umi, and he like swims around Umi so that he's kind of face to face. It's a little weird because octopus's faces are uh, a little different. They're very blobby.
Oh my god.
So, what exactly is the plan here? I know we're exploring the ocean and whatnot, but what exactly did you have in mind?
Umi taps one finger on their chin, looks at Oliver, looks at Ruby, who they're still pulling along behind them, and then like kind of like signs just one word to Ruby. Shipwreck?
Oh, Ruby is very instantly excited. Oh, this is good. Yes. Meanwhile, Oliver is just okay. All right. Well, as long as we're careful, I guess. Oh, good golly.
I mean, Oliver, nothing's gonna hurt you in a shipwreck. There's nothing in a shipwreck that can hurt you.
Listen, Oliver's been around long
Clearly.
enough to know that that is not true.
Damn it. Damn it. Couldn't lull him into a false sense of security, huh? But anyway,
Fine.
they continue swimming
Everything's
along,
fine.
and like they continue swimming along in the direction of the shipwreck, and the view is just amazing. Like I don't imagine like even with the water breathing up, I don't imagine like Ruby can should be able to see very well underwater. Keyword being should, because this is still like Toonkind seas.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's actually still pretty high definition, considering that she's not like she doesn't actually have like anything to help her along. And like, yeah, it's
Don't
beautiful.
need goggles in these Toonkind seas.
Yeah, and like it's definitely beautiful. Like there are like fish. Like there are fish everywhere. There are fish everywhere. Again, like the sun has begun to rise. So the surface of the water is like dancing in like orange and yellow and blue and green, and
Mhm.
it's really really fast. Every now and then you see like an animal that's bigger than a fish. Like sometimes there's a sea turtle. Sometimes there's what seem to be like sometimes there's what seems to be like a sea snake. Like once you have seen like Umi, he's familiar take the form of, and you know to be poisonous, and therefore you avoid without Umi having to even tell you. And sometimes you see like
Yeah.
jellyfish, and it's like, and it's beautiful. Like there are coral reefs like dotting the seafloor,
Mm-hmm.
and like the
Definitely the
colors.
whole time Ruby is like taking the time to like look at all this stuff as they're swimming along, because I don't think she's ever like been in the ocean like this before. So it's definitely like a moment of whoa.
So I imagine like they've probably like gone exploring underwater together before, enough so that Umi
Mhm.
has like cast water breathing on her, but probably
Oh
like
yeah, true.
she hasn't allowed them to like take her to the ocean proper, just like rivers and stuff.
Yee. They probably hung around closer to shore for those first couple times. This is like the first time they're out in like open water with Umi.
Yeah. And like there's something kind of scary about it, because like the open water is like so like vast, and you're getting like, and Ruby, like you do realize that you're getting like far from the shore. Which like logically
Ooh.
it's fine, because you literally have someone who can breathe underwater, who's not gonna let anything happen to you, like who has already
Mhm.
told you where they're going, but at the same time it's like I'm getting far from shore.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely that sense of okay, this is new territory. I gotta be prepared. In fact, Ruby's gonna cast mage armor on herself. Just take the time to pause and just put her hand on her coat, and now it's doing the Minecraft enchanted effect.
10, and hold on,
What
let
was
me
that?
perception to see if Umi notices, which they do, and then I'm gonna make Arcana, which is
Huh?
15. Okay, so
15.
I think they figure out that's mage armor, right?
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
look at
Once
this.
again, they've hung out long enough for them to probably see all of like Ruby's first level spells.
Yeah, I imagine like every time they met again after an interim Ruby, so it's like, hey, look at this new cool spell I learned, because they did meet at level 1.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Ruby is definitely the show off kind of kid.
Umi's just looking at this and like nodding approvingly. Like never hurts to
Ruby
have like
does in
the
fact
extra,
preen.
never hurts to have the extra layer of protection. And so they continue like swimming through like the sea, and like they do like gradually like get deeper. It's not a
Mhm.
steep drop, but like you they do like start swimming like deeper from like the surface.
Mhm.
And yeah, like the water is still cold, but at this point like Ruby's body has probably adjusted to it.
Yee. It's
Like
long enough to at least get used enough to the cold to not be like, okay, it's so picking cold, I don't want to move.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And like they get like deeper and deeper, where deeper, where like the orangish like hue slash glow from the sunlight isn't like as strong anymore, and like they
Mhm.
get deeper, like the wildlife changes, like from like service level dwellers to like those that live like a little bit deeper, like in the ocean.
Mhm.
And
Yee.
as they swim like past the coral reef, which Umi does make sure that Ruby keeps her distance from them, because one, they're fragile, two, a lot of like animals live there, and three, they're
Mhm.
actually kind of sharp. Like you don't want to like swim right on top of one. You don't want to cut yourself, especially when you operate under
Yee.
real time logic.
Yeah. Yeah. Ruby is in fact a real kind. If she gets hurt, she will bleed.
Yeah, not a good idea in the middle of the ocean. Such a terrible idea. But yeah, you see some
Either
stingrays,
way,
you
how
see some
how
fishes.
long do you think they've been swimming in order to get to what they're about to come up upon?
I I was about to say, like, as you get deeper, you do see you do see like a figure start to take shape, like in the distance, like as you swim towards it. As you
Yes.
get closer, you see that it's a shipwreck.
Yes. Shipwreck time.
Shipwreck time. I think I have a picture of the shipwreck if you guys want to see. Hold on.
Sure, go ahead.
You know the picture. I think I showed it to you.
I know the picture.
Behold the shipwreck.
For those listening, because I doubt we're gonna put any pictures in editing because Peck editing, Vamp has just put up a picture of the shipwreck from the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, and well, yeah, that's how it looks to Ruby and Umi as well. In true Toonkind fashion, like there's like this shift from actual like ocean waters with like animals living into it to like basically the area around the ship seems like more murky and like more empty, which it's just like toony things. It's just like proper atmosphere.
Yeah. I think once they're close enough to the ship, Ruby kind of pauses and signs to Umi, "Is this it?" Just like
Umi
double checking.
Umi like signs hasn't haven't checked inside.
Ruby nods, and then she kind of grins as she rubs her hands together, and she's gonna tap herself on the side of her neck this time, and she's gonna cast Alter Self. And I'm going to read the part of Alter Self of which she's using specifically. Uh, Alter Self, blah, blah, blah. You assume a different form. When you cast a spell, choose one of the following options, the effect of which lasts for the duration of the spell. And Ruby is picking Aquatic Adaptation. You adapt your body to an aquatic environment, sprouting gills and growing webbing between your fingers. You can breathe underwater and gain a swimming speed equal to your walking speed. So
I have to
now
wonder why she didn't just like cast this from the beginning.
she can only keep this up for an hour, and she had no idea how long it would take to get to the ship.
Oh, okay. You know what? That's really smart. This is why she's the high intelligence one.
Yes, this is exactly why she's the high intelligence. So she definitely does that, and then takes some time to like show off to Umi.
Umi like nods approvingly. But Umi also does not regret like using a spell slot for water breathing, because hey, we don't
Mhm.
want like accidents to happen if the altar self did drop.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see. I think in order to get this adventure started, we both need to roll perception.
Let's do that.
Yeah. I'll have you go
You
first, and then
first.
I'll roll.
Okay, I'll go first.
Oh,
That's a
that's a
dirty
20 from
20.
Umi. That's an 11 from Ruby.
It's fine. We have one high perception here.
hmm Yep. I think these two kids are starting to swim around the perimeter of the ship, and Umi's actually the one to see it first on the what's like the left hand side called in like ship lingo?
God,
Is
I
it
wish
port?
Drayton was
I think
here.
it's port.
I
Oh,
wish
mood.
Drayton was here. But well,
Drake would know all of this stuff. I
yeah,
think it's port. On
I
the
think
port
it's
hand side of the ship, there is in fact like a large gaping hole that can serve as a suitable entrance for these two kids.
Umi this is underwater, so it's not like Umi can call out to Ruby even if they wanted to. So they just like swim back to where Ruby is and sign found entrance.
Ruby immediately kind of grins and gives Umi a thumbs up before she starts swimming after wherever Umi's gonna lead them, because Umi's the one who knows where the entrance is.
Yeah, Umi takes them to like the port side. And if anyone who actually understands ships listen to this and we're wrong, forgive us. We don't know ship
we are
language.
just little D&D players.
Yeah,
We're just
forgive us.
small. We
But
cannot
yeah,
change this.
you take Ruby to like the gaping hole in like in the port side and like point at it and sign again entrance.
Yeah. I think Ruby just kind of nods, and I think we should roll stealth as we go into this ship, because Ruby's gonna try to be sneaky. I don't know how she's gonna be sneaky when it's underwater movement, but
Say maybe disadvantage for Ruby because again she's
yeah,
not like used to
Ruby's
being
not used to
underwater.
this kind of environment. Yeah,
But then again, you have like Oliver like helping you out, so maybe it's like just cancel it out. 13's not bad.
yeah, 13's not bad. Oh,
Well,
12.
yeah. Well, Umi isn't like being particularly sneaky.
Yeah, I mean, like, Ruby probably doesn't feel the need to be as sneaky as Ruby does. Ruby's instinct is just, okay, time for stealth. Hee hee. And, like, she just kind of, like, sticks to the side of the ship as they start swimming towards the entrance.
Yeah, there's literally like a 1 point difference between their stealth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything is fine. They're like just good kids sneaking into the ship.
Yee. All right. Now that we're actually looking inside the ship, I think it's fair that we roll perception again, because new environment. New environment, new things to see.
That was almost enough.
Oh, good golly.
That was a 19. Become 26.
Yee. And then Ruby got pretty good too. Well, pretty good for Ruby, but Jesus, Umi, you definitely knocked it out of that part with the 26.
They're
Okay.
elements. Literally, they're elements.
Okay, so within this ship, Umi, you see all. You see that there are a number of rooms that are inside this ship, as well as a staircase, like directly in front of you guys, that kind of like leads down into the more deeper parts of the shipwreck. What else is there to notice? You also notice that there is little bits of bioluminescent stuff that's kind of growing in some of the corners of this main deck of the ship. It's kind of like little bioluminescent algae and stuff, and little teeny fishies that are also bioluminescent, because yes.
Yes, like shipwrecks are always teeming with life, and like even this Toonkind shipwreck isn't like completely like free from that. Sure, because Toonie, there are like areas where there are no fish or like life whatsoever to preserve the atmosphere. But for the most part, like yeah, it's teeming with life.
Yeah. I think Ruby didn't exactly roll high enough to like maybe notice like the bioluminescent stuff, but she definitely notices the doors and whatnot. Let's see.
Umi does like tap Ruby on the shoulder and point out the bioluminescence.
Ooh. I think like Ruby just kind of like stops and like looks at them and just like looks at Umi, then looks at the bioluminescent stuff, looks at Umi again, and then points at the At the cool glowing things.
And Umi explains, I'm not even gonna try to like go into the terminology of like a bioluminescence algae. And I don't think like Umi is exactly like giving a book explanation, more like, like what
Yeah.
like we've gleaned from experience.
Just these things glow sometimes, and they hang out in places. There you go. That's the Umi explanation.
Yeah.
Okay. Which doorway do we want to go through first? That was the question. There are... Okay, so if these two kids are facing towards the front of the ship, there are 4 doorways, one of which is behind them, 2 of which is on their right, or the starboard side, and one of which is on their left. And then, of course, there's the stairs that lead down below.
I'd say like the one behind them first and just like tackle it like methodically.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Okie
imagine
dokie.
I would imagine that Ruby specifically wouldn't want them to miss anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Ruby, in that case, is going to start swimming towards that doorway. And she's going to try and open the door. Unfortunately, this is like an old shipwreck, so the doorway is in fact stuck. The door is in fact stuck. So like she tries to grab it and just yank it open. I'm gonna roll strength and see how well she's doing to see if she can actually do this. Oh, that's a 3.
Oh, that's 3. Like
Oh, it's stuck.
Umi is actually looking at Oliver for this because like come on, this is an octopus. Like, do you know how liquid octopus are? Umi have seen octopus do like ridiculous things. Umi's just looking at Oliver and looking at the door and the keyhole and looking at Oliver again. And like arcing
Look,
an
Oliver
eyebrow.
has not been an octopus before. This is weird. Oliver is just like, ah.
Umi gently picks Oliver up and then like holds Oliver out to the keyhole.
Oh, okay. Do you think I could...
Umi nods and like, they know sea animals, Oliver. You can do this.
Oliver is gonna sigh, and he's gonna try. I'm gonna roll Dex and see how well that gets him.
Yeah, Umi
that's
will try to help action.
Okay, good, because Oliver might need it.
17!
I like to think at first Oliver did it, and then he just got kind of a little bit stuck, and then Umi, with the help action, just shoved Oliver through the keyhole.
Yep.
Just with a very toonish popping sound.
Yep.
And I think from that side, Oliver is going to help try to move the door. What should he roll? I do not know what he should roll.
I think like still strength but with advantage. I don't know what an octopus's strength is like.
I think it's just gonna be him helping Ruby out get advantage on this next roll. Cause I'm looking at the octopus strength and it's not good. Oh no, Ruby. Okay. I'm gonna say that's enough. Otherwise we're never gonna get this pecking door open.
None of them has good strength. None of them.
I think there's like a kind of creaking of wood before it suddenly gives and swings open. And Ruby just kind of like tumbles forward in the water a bit, just kind of doing a few somersaults before she straightens herself out.
In an ironic twist of fate, the real kind like enter tunishly while the Toonkind just like floats in after her.
Yep. Okay.
And where are they?
They are, in fact, in the captain's quarters. So, there's probably like some overturned, well, pretty much rotting at this point furniture. Like, like a big desk, maybe a cabinet or a wardrobe that was made of wood that's just kind of rotting away and is just on its side in the corner of the room. Like some of
Imagine
the
there.
floorboards are kind of like lifting up and from being warped from being in the water for so long.
I imagine there are cupboards. They used to be filled with books, but now like books don't last long when submerged
Mm-hmm.
underwater, submerged in
Yeah.
salt water. So like
Yeah.
Ruby,
If there's
you
anything
see
left of
the
the books, it's probably like little bits of leather at this
yeah,
point.
yeah, Ruby, you see the bookshelves and there are no books. Tragic. Aren't you glad you didn't bring your spell book with you?
Oh gosh, yeah.
And
Okay.
like
Uh
I
hmm.
guess like they could like start investigating. Umi would tell Ruby this is the captain quarters.
Yep. Ruby is going to kind of grin and then immediately start like looting through everything. It's time to roll investigation. Okay. Uh Here, I'll let you roll first and then I'll go so we don't get our rolls mixed up.
I mean, can I get away with perception, please? Their investigation is slower. Okay,
Hold on.
investigation. Here we go. Oh, that's a 17. Okay.
Oh, 17's pretty good. Okay, let me roll for Ruby. Oh, that is in fact a 20.
Oh, that's a dirty 20. How is your investigation so damn high? Why am I asking? Of course it is. Fucking
Listen,
complimentary children.
listen. Ruby has a 20 in her intelligence score and also has proficiency in picking uh investigation. So that's like a 5 plus 2, which makes it 7.
Yeah, I was like, like, huh. Yeah, I forgot the investigation was intelligence and not like wisdom. In that case, I'm surprised Umi even has a +4 to it.
Listen. Investigation is fun when you're a little water child who probably does this on the daily. Let's be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. With a 17, I think you're kind of looking around through the captain's quarters, and there are like things to find. It seems like there are like little bits of gold coins from whenever this thing crashed, and I'm gonna roll a d5. You find one gold coin.
Umi, Umi takes the gold coin, looks at it, and kind of like hands it to Ruby.
I think like Ruby is kind of like looking up in surprise as she takes the coin and kind of gives Umi a quick thank you in sign language before going back to looking through her investigation roll. And Ruby did in fact roll high enough, just barely. So Ruby is swimming around until she notices something glinting underneath the floorboards that are just kind of warped up slightly. And she kind of grins and immediately like swims closer to the floorboards and starts looking through it and motioning for Umi to come closer.
Umi does come closer.
Yee. Okay, so underneath the floorboards in a little secret compartment that it looks like, there is in fact a kind of medium-sized box. And Ruby points to it as she starts like grabbing a hold of the floorboards and trying to like move them. I'm gonna roll strength again to see if how well she does. The answer is she does not, because that's a nat 1.
Oh, can Umi like help?
Yes, go help. Roll strength.
I meant more like give you the help action because Umi themselves has an even worse strength than Ruby.
Yeah, that's fair. Like Ruby is doing well, so like Umi, like you also grab hold and help out with this.
Do you
And
want to
now it's a
know?
15.
Do you want to know what's likely? They did the whole like Umi like swam behind Ruby, wrapped their arms around Ruby's waist, and also started pulling.
Yes. Yes.
And like that seems to have been enough for the plank to give, because then they're both like getting like thrown back.
Yep. Yep. I think like both of them get kind of thrown back a bit as the plank tears itself off from the rest of the bits of wood, and Ruby grins very excited, tosses the now piece of wood aside, and swims down to try and lift the box up out of the compartment.
Can Umi make a perception?
Yee.
26. What can
wait.
you give me with the
That
26
is
of this box?
that is nearly a nat 20. Okay.
That's a 19. Again, Umi has like explored shipwrecks before. Umi kind of has a feeling that, if this box was hidden under the floor, this was probably something the captain that really didn't want stolen. AKA, this probably has something like protecting it.
And something protecting it does have, because good golly, you are used to this kind of exploration stuff, Umi. You have done this before. You can kind of instantly tell that this box is in fact trapped to do something whenever someone opens it.
And now it's just a matter of grabbing like Ruby's wrist.
Yeah! Because Ruby was about to open it, like, without a care in the world, but Umi, you are the wise one here. You are the one who goes, okay, hold on.
Yeah, Umi immediately like grabs both of Ruby's wrists and shakes their head.
And like Ruby kind of like looks a little confused and signs what? Just like a little questioning what.
Umi signs trap.
Ah. Ruby, okay. Now Ruby understands.
I think like,
like
Umi's gonna take like one of like the plank of wood that they had like pried off the floor and kind of like keeping the distance from the box, like poke it with like the plank to like try and move it / lift it.
I'm gonna say roll a dex roll for that.
That's a 7.
Ah, that's a 7. I think Oliver's actually going to be the one who helps out this time. Just like kind of wraps his tentacles around and try to steady the wooden plank so that it's a little easier to maneuver.
That's a 15.
15. That is enough. You open the chest and there's kind of like a clicking sound as a spring-loaded trap shoots out a little needle that was positioned to stick into whoever's hand opens it, but and instead just kind of harmlessly slaps against the wood and embeds itself into it. And that was a poison trap, but luckily, Umi, you do in fact have the wisdom brain still.
An experience.
Yeah.
Like
this isn't your first rodeo.
Once they're sure like the box has no more traps, they kind of like put aside the plank, walk over to the box and like pull out the needle from the wood. Is there still poison inside the needle?
I think the poison would have gone off because like it would have been designed to like once it sticks into whatever thing, it releases the poison. So there's probably just poison floating around in the water now. So maybe hold your breath for a bit.
Umi immediately like stays away from that area and but hands the needle to Ruby because maybe she would like this. Having a needle that she can like stab someone with. Surely this will have no consequences whatsoever. Umi wouldn't know. Umi is just here to 5.
I think like Ruby kind of grins and does take the needle and just kind of slips it into her pockets. And then we can now crack open the spoils. Okay, so within the box that you have just opened, Umi, this is where we get to roll the d10s. Okay. You roll 1 d10 and I'll roll the other. That's a 4. Looking at the commons, that is... Oh, that's a fun one. Okay, hold on. I'm also gonna roll a d10. That's a 9. That is. Ooh, okay. Okay, so okay, within this box there is a smaller box that's kind of like partially opened, and inside it contains a little bit of gold coins, perhaps like spare change from whenever this ship sunk. And then there's also a you rolled a 4 for the uncommon magic items. So that means there is a decanter that is sitting alongside it. And let's see, that's a 9. And there's also a sword that is also yeah. Okay. I think Ruby kind of perks up a little bit, and she's gonna roll Arcana because this is Ruby. She likes magic stuff. Oh, that's a nat 1. Oh,
Let me
Ruby.
try and roll Arcana. That's a 12.
That is a 12. I think with a 12, you can kind of get like that the sword is magical right away, because this sword is kind of glowing softly in the darkness. Like
What kind of sword is it, by the way? Like, I'm pretty certain I know what the sword is, and it can be like different sorts of swords.
Well, considering that, well, what kind of? Hold on, let me look it up actually, because I think it might be a specific kind of sword.
No, it's like this effect can be applied. This variant can be applied to like literally almost all the different kinds of swords.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, it does say that.
Again,
Okay.
Then again, we are in the ship, so it's probably gonna be like something like a
Like
rapier.
a cutlass.
Yeah, I'm thinking a rapier or scimitar is about as close we're gonna get to a cutlass.
Yeah, it's a cutlass, but it's like a scimitar. Mechanically, scimitar. Aesthetically, cutlass.
Yes, exactly. I mean, a scimitar is basically a cutlass. Let's be real. Like, look at this shit.
Okay.
Look at this.
Well, because yeah, there it is. Because Ruby didn't roll high enough to like identify what these things are, I think she's just gonna just kind of like lift everything up and like hold out like the stuff out to Umi to see if they want any of it.
Umi like takes a look. Does Umi identify the flask?
I don't know. Let me see. So you got a 12 on your Arcana. I think you know enough that it is in fact magical. What magic, you aren't entirely sure, but it is magical and it has something to do with water. So
Yeah, Umi's keeping the flask. They do like look at like the sword a little longer and hey, Obby, would you say that the captain quarters is dim?
yeah, definitely. There's definitely not a lot of natural light down here. So yeah. So Ruby picks up the sword, which is glowing which glows and casts like bright light in a 15-foot radius. So it's glowing now. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Like Umi does like consider this. And then they nod and hold on a hand. Like, yeah, sure, they did take the cutlass. Like they take the totally cutlass. Like sure, they might not have much need for it, but also it's neat.
Yee. I think Ruby does hand it off to Umi before picking up the gold coins and putting them also into her pockets. Just take the gold. Take all the shiny things.
I think I think this is like a pretty like damn good like compromise for them. Umi gets like the neat magic stuff and Ruby gets all the gold.
You know what? Fair.
I mean fair.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
I think once they've cleaned out the captain's quarters, Ruby eventually decides there's probably nothing else here. We probably explored the whole thing, so let's check out the rest of the ship and start swimming for the door. And I wouldn't be here yet. So yeah, what where do we want to go next? I think I know where Ruby wants to go next cuz yeah. But
I mean,
where does
like
Ruby want to
considering
go?
this is Ruby's first time, like Umi's gonna let her like go where she wants.
All right, rad. In that case, Ruby is gonna take a look at the other doorways for a sec before directing her attention towards the staircase that leads down into the bottom of the ship, and is gonna start swimming down there.
Like I think like the other doorways are just like leading into rooms, and like you both do like a cursory check, but there doesn't seem to be like much. There's a chart house where most of everything that used to be there has like kind of rotted with the ages. It's
Yeah.
like all the paper and stuff. It's like in the same story state as the captain's bookshelves were. There's a galley, which like fares a little bit better. All the any and all metal that was in this area has rusted. Although this specific room seems to be teeming with life, which makes sense when you think of this, considering this used to be the galley. There are a lot of fish and like a lot of barnacles and a lot of basically there's a lot of life, and they all like turn to stare at you as you open the door, Ruby. Like like that one cartoonish gag where all the fish stop swimming and just stare at you.
Ruby, she's been around Toons for a while at this point, but also sometimes the gags are a little weird. She's not used to all of them. I think she just kind of swims back a little bit and just slowly shuts the door.
And
nope, not going in there.
Yeah. And one of them is like the sleeping quarters, like beds in a row. Like literally the only thing left at this point in time are the bed frames. And even that's like all warped and like, mossy from like being underwater. And again, a lot of life here. A lot of life here. The blankets are like you do take a peek, and thankfully it does not seem like there are any skeletons or whatever in this room. Like at least there's that. Like it's just empty room. Does look like it was left in a rush, but it's just empty.
I think after exploring like all the doorways and stuff, I think Ruby is gonna motion for Umi to follow as she starts swimming down like the stairway again. It is time to check out what's in the hold.
The stairway like descends into like darkness. Descends into darkness.
Okay.
I would argue that like then again, they aren't really walking on the stairway, are they? They're swimming through it.
Yeah, they're just swimming downwards, doing a dive. I think Ruby does motion for Umi to like hand her the sword so that she can use it as a light source.
Yeah, Umi hands it over.
Yeah. Okay, it is now once again perception time. Because new room, new things to see. That's a 14 from Ruby.
Hold on, Dice Parser.
Dice Parser?
Please send my message.
Dice Parser?
There we go.
Oh! They both got 14! Twins! Twins! Okay.
Oliver,
well,
a
14. Oh, yeah. What's Oliver's perception gonna be? Just a straight D20 from my boy. That's a 9. Oliver's a little nervous. As he always is.
As he always is.
Okay. Well, a 14 is definitely high enough to notice like the large amounts of old rotting crates that are throughout the room. And the brig, which is kind of like across the way. It takes Ruby swimming a little bit closer for you guys to actually see that inside the brig there is in fact a proper skeleton. So that's fun.
Umi is like nonplussed, like, they've seen this shit before. It's a real kind skeleton.
Yep, a real kind skeleton. That's fun. Either way, Ruby's like the kind of kid who sees a dead thing and goes, "Oh, cool." So she's kind of like swimming closer to it and like checking out the skeleton.
It looks to be you can't really like tell like what clothes that it did used to wear are like mostly like gone at this point. It's like shackled like to the wall in very rusted manacles. I would imagine that with a perception check of 14, they do like see they do like notice more details though.
I think with 14, they notice that the skeleton is holding something in one of its little bony hands.
Ooh. What is it?
It looks like a little candle.
Ooh. Ooh. Like Umi like looks at the candle and like hums and is there anything odd about the candle or is it literally just a candle?
You can roll either investigation or arcana if you want.
Investigation. That's a 10.
Aw. That's 10. I think that's high enough to notice that there is something with the candle that makes it more than a normal candle, but like not exactly what it does. So, yeah,
like
it's a candle. May or may not have something about it.
Umi looks at Ruby and it's like magic candle.
Oh, Ruby kind of perks up and she swims to get a good look at it, and she's gonna roll Arcana. That is a 13, which it's not that much higher, but I think it's high enough for Ruby to definitely nod in agreement. Like, yep, magic candle. Hold on, and she motions Oliver to swim over and grab the candle because the bars are in fact made of metal, and the gaps between them are too small for Umi or Ruby to get through. So Oliver just, because he's an octopus, just slips through the bars, grabs the candle with a couple tentacles, then swims back and hands the candle to Umi, because Umi was the one who seemed interested in it.
Umi like kind of like looks at the candle and like kind of like turns it from side to side.
I think Ruby's gonna like think for a second before she grabs hold of the candle and she snaps her fingers and casts produce flame on its wick. And this is in fact a little common magic item called the Candle of the Deep. And it is a candle that works underwater.
Like,
so she lights the wick and it does in fact light up.
and like Umi stares at the candle and stares at Ruby and then just like, like, ooh, that's neat.
That is
And
in
they
fact neat,
nod
yes.
and then they nod like looking very satisfied and then like kind of hold the candle out towards the skeleton to see if the skeleton has anything else under the light.
I'm gonna let you roll investigation to see if there's anything else.
Please, can I have perception instead?
Nope, this is close detail work. I'm sorry.
That's an 8. Oliver, help me.
Well, like Ruby's also there, so Ruby's gonna help roll.
Thank
God.
That's
a 24.
Oh, 24.
Yeah. Umi holds up the candle, and actually, Ruby's the one who catches a glint of a gold doubloon that's hanging from a very tattered necklace on the skeleton. And as soon as she notices it, she once again gets Oliver's attention. Oliver sighs, goes back in, grabs the gold thing, comes back out.
What is the gold thing?
It is just a gold doubloon. It's like slightly larger than normal gold coin.
Oh my god, I don't imagine it can be used as currency anymore, but it's still neat.
Yee. It probably can be used as currency, but like if you find somebody who collects old coins, it's probably worth something.
Neat. But also, it's really
Yee.
neat. Why would you sell it?
Yeah. I think with that might be everything that.
Well, they never like properly explored the hole. They just saw the door to the brick and then went straight for it.
Yeah, true. The children saw a skeleton and went, whoo! Okay.
One last perception for the road.
One last perception, yeah.
Oh, that's a nat 20!
Oh, that is a nat picking 20! Yeah, Umi, with your new candle and, just swimming around, you kind of easily notice that among the wooden crates that appear to have held something before, they do have labels, but they're all in Elvish, so you can't really tell what they were. Within the light of the candle, you do notice that there is a chest among all the crates that looks like it could be opened and looted through.
Umi looks at the chest and then Umi picks it up.
Yep. And since you got that nat 20 and like using a similar roll earlier to deter traps, you know that this one isn't trapped because this one was probably more like to deliver cargo that was in the ship. And so yeah, do you open the chest?
Yeah, Umi does open the chest.
Yes. Inside the chest, there is a whole lot of pecking precious jewelry, my man.
Umi
there are necklaces, there are bracelets, there are little golden glinty things.
Umi opens it and it's a salt that sparkles and gold light, and then Umi closes it again because Umi is not really interested in this. And Umi swims over to Ruby and holds out the chest.
Ruby, who's still checking out the skeleton because cool bones, cool dead thing.
Ruby, you live with Antler.
Yeah, she lives with Antler, but also sometimes you want to check out the cool dead thing and wonder how it got dead.
I mean, I think it's pretty
either way.
It's pretty obvious how it got dead, considering it's shackled to the ship.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. I think Ruby perks up once Umi swims over with the chest, and she takes hold of the chest and curiously opens it to see all the precious stuff inside, and just goes woo without making the sound because mute. But she might as well have.
Look at it! Look at all those gold pieces. Look at all those jewelry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is very exciting. I think she moves to put it in her bag of holding before she pauses and wait a second. If she opens her bag of holding, she's probably going to get everything inside wet, and that's what she wanted to avoid in the first place. So she just kind of pouts, and I'm going to roll a d2 to see what she decides to do. 1 for that, 2 for... Okay! Huh! I did not expect this. Okay, Ruby is going to sigh and gently set the chest down on the ground for a second before she starts shrugging off her coat, which is the first time this has happened before.
Ooh.
And yeah. And what Ruby's doing is she's using the coat and tying it around herself so that it can be used to hold the little chest. But Umi, yeah, Umi, if you want to roll perception, you can for little details.
Oh, that's
yeah, it is pretty easy to notice the scarring that's along the back of Ruby's arms and her back. There is like a lot of claw marks. There's a lot of
Umi does like blink at the scars, but they don't really give much of a reaction beyond that. They know someone who's like much more heavily scarred than like Ruby, and they're just like, okay, you have scars. That's cool. It means like you survived something that was like strong enough to scar you.
Yeah. Actually, do you want to roll insight real quick?
Okay, sure. Insight, huh? Let me look at their insight. Inside would be, yeah, there we go. Inside would be. That's a nat one.
Oh, well. Nat one. Ruby's just kind of like after she takes off her coat, she just kind of is watching you for a bit. And it isn't obvious as to why, but like for the audience, I will say is kind of waiting to see if there's a reaction. But the fact that Umi's just not giving a reaction is just making her relieved. And so she just kind of sighs and makes sure that the chest is properly secured within the coat that she has now used as a something to tie up, and kind of, I guess, motions for Umi to be like, all right, we've checked out everything. It's probably time to go.
And off they go.
Okay, perception time. Hold on, actually, I do have to roll. Actually, wait. Where are the stats?
I rolled it
roll.
already. If you're talking about health, I rolled it in like
our... No, I'm gonna roll stealth. I'm gonna roll stealth.
Oh boy.
For this thing.
God.
Oh, that's a 9. I don't think that even beats their passive perceptions. So like,
no, it doesn't. And like, even if Umi got a nat one, like it taken Umi getting a nat one to not notice that.
Yep. You guys are about to swim back up to the main deck before you notice like a shadow of something big passing over you, and like Ruby kind of like tenses and swims back a bit to go next to you, because there is in fact a shark. There's a shark.
There is in fact a shark, and
there is in fact a shark.
Before we continue this FPS, to all you listeners at home, sharks are amazing creatures. They really don't deserve the flack the media give them. Do not like take this FPS to be like any like real sharks behavior. This has been a PSA.
But also, we need our Little Mermaid reference.
We need our Little Mermaid reference. And also, like, there is a reason why the shark, would, like, attack them. Looks at Umi. There is a reason. Anyway.
I'm gonna real quick roll perception for the shark to see if it'll notice you guys. Let's see. That's a 9. No, it does not notice. It does not perceive. The shark is swimming idly by.
Umi's like looking at the shark and then looking at like Oliver and Ruby. If they were alone, they would probably like try and sneak out by their lonesome. But like Ruby isn't very used to being underwater. And like Oliver is a whole like octopus.
I think Ruby is just kind of like thinking and like looking to Umi like, do we fight it or do we try to sneak out? And like she's signing it to like try and see what they should do.
Umi signs try sneak out, if notice fight.
I think Ruby nods at that, and it's time to roll stealth. Oh please. Actually wait, hold on. Ruby, can you cast it at shoot, if she casts it, she'll lose alter self though. And
you really don't want that when you're potentially going to be swimming away from a shark. You don't want to lose that.
Yeah, I think she was considering casting invisibility, but also she needs to swim. And she needs to be able to swim fast.
I need to mention that wouldn't have worked because I'm pretty sure Hunter Shark has blind sight for 30 feet.
Oh, that's not good. Okay, well.
Kind of
Either
makes
way.
sense, considering, like, underwater probably has other
Okay.
things to rely on besides sight.
All right, stealth time. That's a
That's a
nat 20 from Ruby. Oh,
that's a
Ruby, no!
Oliver
Ruby,
needs to
no!
roll stealth as well.
Oh gosh, yeah, Oliver. Oliver, with your stealth, you get a +2.
That's
17.
17.
Okay. So, I think the two of you wait until the shark is like not facing you guys. And then Ruby very quietly, like with impressively quietly for someone who's not used to swimming in the water, is just very quietly swimming up and out of the hold and is trying to make her way towards the big gaping hole in the side of the ship. And Oliver is just kind of like wrapped himself against Ruby's back to like kind of benefit off the stealth.
I
Umi,
imagine
I
it's
think.
I imagine it's a thing where, like, when Ruby and Oliver like stealthed by, like it was like stealthy, and also like I imagine like when Ruby like, cause like the way real sharks hunt, like it's like they can kind of like feel when there's like prey like in their vicinity, and the deal, and it didn't ping for like Ruby and Oliver because one was a familiar and one was like a real kind, but sure did ping for Umi, who's like a Toonkind and a warlock of the ocean nonetheless.
Yeah.
So
I think Umi, you try to swim up just as like the shark has swam in a circle to turn around because sharks can't swim backwards. It's the one thing I know about sharks.
yeah, they can't stop swimming for very long either if they don't want to immediately drown.
Yeah.
Fun
So
ocean.
it turns around and it sees you and oh boy. Okay, well.
Ruby and Oliver, you're already like not like you're already like kind of like made your distance, and then you hear what seems to be like, if sharks could roar, which this is a Toonkind shark. You're like,
yep, it can roar. It can definitely roar. So
you definitely hear it.
I think it's initiative time, don't you think?
I think it's initiative time.
Oh boy, I was hoping we could avoid this, but apparently not. All right.
Were you really hoping for this? Like, were you really hoping we could avoid this?
No, honestly, I wanted to fight the shark. Okay, so that's Umi. This is the shark. Oh, the shark.
Yeah.
Oh, the shark.
I think Ruby and are they gonna join the fight?
I think they might be around late because they were already kind of out, but I will roll initiative for them now. That's a 12 from Ruby.
I think it would take like one
Umi,
like
shark,
round.
Ruby.
Oh wait, hold on. Yeah,
So
Ruby
this is the initiative order for now, and then the initiative order for now is Umi, then the shark, and then Ruby will come out, and then will come in the next round. Okay. Umi, you are being very steadfastly descended upon by this shark. What are you doing?
Umi, the thing is they're in the ship. Blah, 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 hold on. And then I think like I think like Umi is like Umi like takes one look at the shark and it's like, yeah, this can't be reasoned with. Like this is literally just like a prey situation. Umi's the prey. They don't really like blame the shark for it. So but also they're not gonna lie down and let themselves be preyed on. Nah, so they're gonna cast a ranged attack. Let's see if this hits.
You're gonna cast what?
They're gonna cast a spell. Does that hit?
Okay. Does that hit? Yeah, that hits. That does in fact hit the shark. Roll for damage.
Okay, so that's gonna be.
What is Umi casting?
Eldritch Blast.
Ah. Oh, that's 2 damage. Oh, baby.
First blast. And the second one doesn't hit. I think the
That one-
surprise was
Yeah, that one definitely doesn't hit. So, you shoot off your Eldritch Blast, which, what does your Eldritch Blast look like, Umi? I wish to know, yes.
it looks like if you guys have ever seen underwater steam vents or like geysers, it looks like that.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, like and now the Eldritch Blast actually kind of boils the water around it.
Yeah. I think
Unfortunately,
you managed to hit the shark for all 2 hit points that you managed to do. And the shark, even though it has been hit, does not look deterred. What's the word? It does not look hindered in the slightest, and is, in fact, it's now the shark's turn. And the shark's gonna, the shark is going to take a bite attack. Which is a plus that to hit. Boop.
that
That's
does
an
not
8.
hit.
That does not hit. I think like it's charging for you, Umi, and then Umi, you just duck out of the way as it goes crashing past you and crashes into the doorway of the captain's quarters.
And like this isn't that makes sense. This isn't Umi's first rodeo. Now that the shock's wearing off,
Yee.
like they're just like, okay, dodge, and like,
Okay.
fight.
Yep. Okay, and that is the only attack the shark can take. So it is now your turn again, Umi.
Umi's turn. Eldritch Blast didn't do very well, so they're gonna be casting Toll the Dead.
Toll the Dead. I have to roll a wisdom save, correct?
Yeah, you have to roll a wisdom save. Shit, ignore that roll. I don't think it would have hit anyway.
Oh, the shark got a 19. Boo!
All right. Never mind. You still take damage. It's just half. Not exactly
sure?
half, but just like the 8.
Are you sure? I think.
Yeah,
I don't know
sure.
if that's how it works with Toll the Dead. Let me look it up.
The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take. Oh yeah, never mind. You don't take any damage. Damn it.
Yep. Sorry. Yeah, Toll the
Damn.
Dead's like one of those ones where if it does hit, it's really strong, but if it doesn't, it does nothing. It's kind of a risky play.
I mean, like, I think it was a good play considering the shark only has a straight D20 for it.
Yeah, considering normally. Okay, so if that's Umi, that means it's now Ruby's turn. Ruby has, oh boy, her friend is under attack. That is not good. Ruby is going to cast Ruby's gonna cast the thing that can't miss and just cast magic missile at level 2.
Oh boy. For shark.
Yep. So that's how many darts? 3 darts for normally. So it's 4 darts of 4 darts of magic. So it's 44 plus 1. Boop. Oh, good golly, that is 12 damage. So Ruby turns around and holds out one of her hands, and 4 bright red streaks of magic shoot out from her hand and impact with the sides of the shark, taking 12 damage. So that's down 14 hit points. Let me do math. Okay, that is the health where it's at now. Okay, rad. Okay, that is Ruby's turn. It's now the shark's turn. I don't think it'd go after Ruby because Ruby's too far away. So I think it's just gonna bite for you again, unfortunately, Umi.
It's fine. Everything's fine. That
Oh
does not
my gosh, the shark! The shark!
Umi just dodges again.
There's just another crashing sound as it hits another one of the doorways from how badly it missed. In fact, I'm gonna have it take some bludgeoning damage from that one, because that's sad. That's 1 bludgeoning damage. Okay, Umi, it's your turn again.
Hey, quick question. Did Ruby ever give back the scimitar to, like, Umi?
I think she would have, yeah, because she couldn't hold it as well as the chest of stuff.
I think we hadn't yet gotten to, like, put it back in their like, inventory hammer space, so that's a nat 20.
Oh my gosh. That's a nat 20.
Umi
with the cool magic sword you got.
Yeah, Umi brandishes this new glowing cutlass that they've, like, scavenged from down below, and slices the shark. And I'm gonna roll damage. Holy fucking shit!
Roll damage.
Roll of cool,
damage.
I guess.
Roll damage. Okay, so it's another
That's
14 hit points gone because we're doubling the damage. Oh, good golly, this shark is low.
Yep.
Good golly.
Good golly.
I think I'm gonna roll a d2 and see what the shark's plan is. Although, considering it's gonna be Ruby next after this, I don't know if it'll get a chance to do this. Oh, that's not right. Whoops.
Shark is thinking of whether or not to process.
Yeah. The shark has rolled a 2 on the d2 roll, which means it's gonna cut its losses if it gets the chance to. Ruby, meanwhile, is going to cast, I think she's gonna cast Firebolt at it, just do a cantrip. And I'm gonna roll to see if it works. D20 plus 7. That's a 19 to hit. And it does that much damage. Okay, so just as the shark is turning around and trying to swim away, Ruby manages to hit one more attack off of it to permanently scare it off, hopefully. And the shark does one more toonish roar before it swims through the entrance that it came in, like kind of like rushing past Ruby and just getting the peck away, swimming away into the open ocean. Goodbye. Farewell.
And, like, Umi, like, blinks at, like, the shark and, like, then, like, slowly, like, lowers their, cutlass, which they critted on. The very first attack on that cutlass. And they critted on
That
it.
was so good. Yeah. Like, Ruby, like, from her side of, like, if Umi looks at Ruby, Ruby just pumps both arms into the air. Just very excited, like, yeah!
Umi, like, kind of raises their sword, their cutlass again in a little victory before, like, putting it into their hammer space.
And I think with that, they are now gonna head right back to Ruindall, because that was fun, but also getting nearly attacked by a shark is also not fun, because that's, scary. A little bit. I think Ruby wants to go home.
And Umi takes her there. I'm not even gonna roll for this. Like, they've been in Ruindall for a while already. And also, like, considering their survival is a +7, I'm pretty sure we can go without rolling here. So
yeah.
Umi takes Ruby home. Like, honestly, even though they're the one who was attacked by the shark, they don't seem very, like, pleased by this. They don't seem very phased. Like, yep, same ship as always.
Umi can, in fact, handle themselves in the ocean, as proven here today, folks.
Umi does, like, as they're swimming, Umi does mention that they know a shark mare. They know, like, a shark tune.
Oh. Okay, well, Ruby is definitely all ears. Or rather, all eyes, since it's sign language.
That's literally all, like, Umi says. Like, they just mentioned that, and then, like, girl goes quiet again.
If you think you are not getting questions from Ruby after that, Umi, you are sorely mistaken. She's immediately asking about them as you guys are swimming back to Ruindall.
All you managed to glean from Umi is, oh yeah, there are others who are like kind of have the same deal as Umi, like kind of like so connected to the ocean, and like one of them is the shark mare. There's like some kind of like little dragon. There's like this real kind of elf who doesn't have the same deal as them, but loves the sea as much as they do, etc., etc., etc.
That is also very cool. Oh my gosh. Ah!
That Ruindall is fast approaching, and before Ruby knows it, they're surfacing in the underground river.
I will say, once they get to the underground river, Ruby does pause, and she unties her coat from around her waist and makes it so that she's wearing her coat again instead of using it to hold the chest like she had been doing. Because she wants to keep those mostly hidden, and she trusts Umi enough with being able to show off the scars, but she wants to keep it hidden from the others for a bit longer, even though one person here already knows about it. Yeah. So
and
they go up to the surface of the river.
They're back. Well, they're back. How long do you think they were gone for? A few hours, give or take?
Probably a while, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a 7. Oh boy. Hey, Fable, wait till you roll.
So that was a wisdom saving throw. Ruby, as you emerge from the water, a familiar shadow falls over you, and so this is where you were.
I think like Ruby just kind of like looks up at Antler as they come out of the water, and I'm gonna roll insight. I'm gonna roll insight. That's a 13.
Hey, Ruby, he's not happy. It's clear as day. He's not happy.
Oh boy.
Ruby, you feel like you have not received a look like this in a long time, but it's definitely that familiar adult not happy with child look.
I think Ruby's kind of thrown through a loop for a bit, because like Antler's never really been upset with her going off on her own before, so like she's just kind of she is just standing here holding the chest that she got from the shipwreck.
Antler stares at you, Ruby. He looks over at Umi, only for a moment. Umi does not fully have his attention at the moment before he turns back to you. And he, I'm gonna roll hammer space real quick. 4. He reaches into his robes while saying, "Little corner guards came here earlier today with this." And he pulls out a familiar wanted poster with Ruby's face on it. I of course informed them that there was no such child here, which was true, since I was not aware of where you were. And because of that, you need to keep me informed of where you are going and when you leave. Is that understood?
Oh, Ruby is kind of bristling at that, and she's just kind of like dropping the chest in the water so that she can like actually talk, actually communicate, and she's very much expressing her frustrations of that's not fair. Hello, this hasn't been a thing before.
Yes, well, I haven't had the guards come looking for you here before.
And like,
We are both aware that it is not just the guards that are looking for you, and I do not have the resources to waste looking for you either, Elaine.
Ooh.
oh
Am
boy,
I clear?
I want to roll something real quick. Ah, damn it. Umi's just here.
I'm gonna roll.
What was that?
That was perception. I wanted to see if Umi like noticing since they are kind of like politely, semi-politely, like with their back turned on these two.
What are you trying to perceive?
It's more kind of like passive, like, hey, did Umi hear Antler just drop that? And Umi did hear. Unfortunately.
Okay.
And Avi, what was that 12?
You know your wisdom save you made before for
That's fair.
Ruby made her own wisdom save, and
It's not bad. It's about the
she's
cat.
pissed. No, she's pissed.
Oh, shit.
There's definitely like the frustration that's building up in her, and she's just I think she just starts stomping out of the river, and like you can already see that she's casting primal savagery to go wreck something. She's mad.
And Antler watches her go off before turning sharply to Umi. As for you,
Yeah. Umi looks at you.
he put as he starts he sighs. He tucks the wanted poster back into his robes, and goes, "You are not in my service, nor are your loyalties to me. So I do not expect much from you. That said, she is my responsibility as she is in my service."
May I roll insight?
Yeah, go ahead.
Umi, don't fail me now.
$15. 15. I mean, he's angry. He's angry, but with a closer look, there are slightly few more circles under his eye sockets. His clothes look a bit ruffled, I guess is a word for it. And Umi, if you didn't know any better, you say it's possible that he might have been trying to look for Ruby this entire time that you guys have been gone.
Umi like looks at Antler and like Antler, like you see them tilt their head and you can practically like see the gears spinning behind their eye. Before something seems to click, it like seemed like they seem to like have an moment. And then they just like they actually nod, like seemingly genuinely. Like, yeah, I'll tell you if I take Ruby out exploring again. Which is probably more than you'd expected from this kid.
Wait, do they say that or do they just nod?
He is not. But like
Then
it's a genuine looking nod, question mark.
well, I'm also gonna roll insight because Antler's a bit miffed at the moment.
Yeah, understandable.
It's above a 10.
It's an 11. Then again, you don't know this child, so you can't be very sure. But at the same time, from what you've seen of this child, they don't really like hide much. If you know how to read them, you can read them. And they seem genuine when they nod. Like they seem like, yeah, I won't like take Ruby out without like telling you first, which is surprising, but like don't look a gift horse in the mouth, Antler.
I'm just gonna make one more roll.
Oh boy.
16. Okay, that was another whiz save to see if Antler calms down, and upon seeing your nod, Antler gives you a good scrutinizing look for a few more moments before he closes his eye sockets, takes a breath, and then with And then he sharply turns away and heads towards his room.
Actually, Antler, as you turn away, you hear like a sharp like slap on the water, like someone like signaling for you to turn around.
What? What is it? He
And
does turn around to look.
Umi pushes forward the chest Ruby had dropped into the river when she had stomped off.
What is this?
They signed like Ruby's name sign. This seems to be like something they had found while they were out exploring together.
Antler will use the actually he doesn't have his stuff out at the moment. Hold on. Okay, Antler pulls his staff out from his hammer space and uses the butt of it to push the lid open.
Yeah, it's the chest filled with all the gold jewelry they found in the shipwreck.
Hmm. Well, at least you were doing something useful.
Me just blinks at him and then seems to and then pops underwater again.
I need to roll strength to see if Antler's able to pick these up.
Oh, good golly.
It's a chest full of jewelry and gold. 8. Antler leans down to grab them. And Umi, from under the water, you just hear Jewel. And just that.
Umi is so curious. They peek their head up from under the water can.
You see Antler standing up, but his arms are still holding on to the chest. Or half his arms, anyways. His arms have popped off again. And Antler looks annoyed.
Umi deliberates on this for a few moments. They were popping back underwater, like their own strength isn't very good. And like Antler is an adult, he can handle this.
Yeah, I just rolled again for 14. Antler pops his arms back in and manages to pick up the chest. And I think he pauses at the hallway leading to Ruby's room. Can Antler hear anything?
No, like Ruby. Oh wait, shit. Sorry, I misheard the question.
No, all good. Can Antler hear anything from Ruby's room?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
She's
good God.
definitely wrecking shit. She is breaking things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. And Antler just shakes his head before he takes the chest into his room. Closes the door.
Oh boy.
Oh, good golly.
Oof.
Oh.
Oof.
It's probably not until probably a couple hours later, Ruby, that you find like a small bag of gold left in front of your room.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna roll a d2 to see what she does with it. Okay, she's not angry enough to take it. So I think like she does eventually just peek out of the room and just curiously pick up the bag and see what's inside it. Boy.
It is about how much gold would you say was in the chest?
Well, whatever was in like the chest of jewelry. I mean, I don't know what they would have been worth. We were just like, "Hoo, find cool jewelry to find."
I would say Antler probably took the jewelry and will probably go to Little Corner to sell that later. But for now, for the gold coins that that could actually be used as money. I'm gonna say about 35 gold of that was put in a pouch for you. Because you did go out and find it. So that is technically work. Which he should probably pay you for.
Nice.
Even though he is still angry with you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. And I think that can be a good note to end our FPS on. Well, quote unquote good note.
Could have been worse.
Drama in our Lucy Goosey FPS apparently more likely than you think.
It could have been worse.
It could have been.
It could have been worse.
It could have been. The wisdom saves weren't too bad.
They were still pretty bad. But either way, thank you guys for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this. And I think that is where we say goodbye. Farewell, listeners. Thank you for listening.
Goodbye.
Ah.
Bye.